The conversation about what Brock Purdy deserves and what Brock Purdy will earn are two very different things. Brock Purdy deserves more money, I would suggest, than any quarterback not named Patrick Mahomes. If you want to go throw in Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, maybe Jalen Hurts.
Joe Burrow? We want to pay Brock Purdy more money than Josh Allen. You and Josh can't even sit at the same table.
That's where, I don't know, I draw the line. You can see, I cut out the clip early because, I like to get down to the business and we still in the money-making business or whatever. But, our analyst, Shady McCoy, the former Eagle, running back extraordinaire, and Emmanuel Acho are on two opposing sides. And I'm going to say neither one of them is explicitly wrong, because Acho's reason that, Brock Purdy deserves it. There's a case to be made for him to get that top earning bag, and a reason for him not to. And it's actually multiplicitous number of reasons why he shouldn't. And there's a reason why, he shouldn't be paid, according to Shady. But also, I don't agree with him kind of like, trying to knock him down a peg. Because, Jalen Hurts has to entertain the same conversation because of his physical limitations and the way he's seen as a systems quarterback and whatnot. But let's dive into it, man, piece by piece. I love diving into other teams' issues. I'm a staunch Eagles fan, forgot to tell you that. But I do like to say that I parse things up fairly, see things without, any bias, suspect, of twinge of hatred in my eyes. I will call you whiners, 40 whiners, but I do have respect for, the program that they are running there in San Francisco. Y'all beat the brakes off us, in 2023 season. And thank you for it because, I don't know if we would have been the team we were because if not for that, it highlighted, illuminated so many issues that we had to deal with. And we did that on the way to getting another one of these, But anyways, I do agree with Acho technically. He can lay claim to that Dak money because, what he said verbatim, what has he done that Dak, hasn't been able to do? NFC championships, he's gone to two of those, taking them to a Super Bowl, which they theoretically could have won. They some people say they should have won. They were so close, and it's not like the Chiefs had the best defense, but they knew how to turn it on, and they put the screws to Purdy, and him not having the offensive line like per se the Eagles do, that was always going to be a tough issue, because Chris Jones and them boys, they were coming, and they know how to put enough pressure on him, confuse him enough, throw him off his game to where, he didn't have his best game in the Super Bowl, but, I don't think he played, poorly enough for them to lose the game, but he wasn't the reason that they would have won it either, so, and they shut Deebo Samuel down that game, dissimilar to, our Super Bowl with the Eagles most recently. Trent McDuffie, held him in check. Couldn't do that to AJ, though. AJ is a different beast, all, of a different, type, sort, build, frame, depth. But, I mean, Dak has done, Dick with his, career. He's capped out in the divisional round 2 times thanks to those, 49ers. And Purdy, doing his job on the other side. And I mean, that being said, Dak is been put in prime situations, but he hasn't been able to take that team there. He's folded in the playoff for, this or that reason. I mean, you can say this and that. But, Brock Purdy is taking his team deep into the playoffs, year after year. And, he deserves to be rewarded for that. Where that lies is the question. Number 2, the problem is by doing so, he's putting an already financially teetering franchise in the hole. I mean, if he wants to, ask for top dollar, $60 million, man, that's going to, they are not going to be in the market for that. They're going to slot him somewhere in between, this quarterback and this quarterback. And where that is exactly depends on where, Brock and them meet. And how much is Brock willing to, to cut them? Because let's be real. On the open market, he's not going to be valued the same because he's seen as a systems quarterback. But with him having the amount of success he's had, they don't want to just, castigate him and throw him away. So both sides are going to have to make some concessions. And what is it going to come down to? A few, million per year here, there, guaranteed money, a little bit more, and just sweeten the pot, on the 49ers side. But, I mean, you don't know exactly what they're going to do, how much exactly he's going to get paid. But you do know that he's valuable to that franchise because, like I said, the track record speaks for itself. And even, some games where, defense let him down or he hasn't had, all of his, starters around him. To, a certain degree, Brock has been able to carry them to, some. And it's been tough, though, with other games where, I don't know if it's half and half, but, O-line, just wasn't there and didn't show up. And then guys were dropping balls and such. Can't put that on Purdy. He was showing up and he played within the system, did what you asked him to do. Number 3, I disagree with Shady that he doesn't deserve more than Josh Allen just purely because of the comparison of physical tools. Because, again, what has Josh Allen done? And I get it, he's in the AFC. It's a totally different story. The NFC is a weaker conference and, a easier road to the Super Bowl. I mean, I don't care. You put him, just make a conference list if you want to make that argument. Go by record purely on both sides. But, he's done his fair share of work, and, yes, the system is beneficial to quarterbacks, but he's also, been the best out of that stock of quarterbacks. Jimmy Garoppolo, Trey Lance, and a few other guys, being, guys who got the system, able to operate at a somewhat high level. Brock Purdy's taken that and ran with it. So, yeah, I mean, he may not have the strongest arm, but he's pinpoint accurate. He may not be able to, see over the line completely, all the time, but, he has wheels. Can use them to some degree. He's able to get himself in and out of situations. Poise. The guy has, a tremendous amount of leadership to be only a third-year player going into his 4th year now. And he saved him, like, heads might have rolled if he hadn't developed into the player he was when they picked Trey Lance 3rd overall, and sold him for peanuts on the dollar. So he's done a lot for them, and it hasn't been because of his physical prowess. It's been because of, what he has in between his earlobes. All right, number 4, where exactly does he slide in on that highest paid QB list? So I don't know. That is the real question. I mean, let's just look at it and go down and see what quarterbacks are even on that. All right, we got Dak Prescott at the top. Clearly doesn't deserve to be there by his track record. Josh Allen. I mean, I would say you're paying more for, their tools, their potential, and you're forecasting into the future. So Josh, yeah, he deserves to be at number 2. So does Joe Burrow. Needs to get more wins, like, he didn't take his team to the playoffs with, the defense they had. People like, defensive support, Jalen Hurts did. So I don't hear that shit. Jordan Love, a little bit overpaid, but that's the going rate. Trevor Lawrence, overpaid, but again, going rate, and he's benefiting off of timing. So was Tua, he just dealing with health issues and doesn't have the strongest arm, even though he gets the ball out of his hands super quick. Jared Goff, maybe you could say a little bit overpaid, but getting what you pay for. He is a tremendous leader, and yeah, he golfs a little bit too hard, but he could do a lot worse. Justin Herbert, I would say he's slightly overpaid, but people drool over his prodigious talent. Yet hasn't led to anything. Lamar Jackson, I would say he's a little bit underpaid. But again, his results, he's capping out at a certain level. Jalen Hurts, I would say people would say he's overpaid. I think, he's right where he needs to be. And, he's highly undervalued. He's probably, people look at, the worst talented on this list, physically speaking. But Yeah, he's done more than anybody on this list, and we don't even. And Mahomes isn't even in in the top 10 of this list. He's gonna get like 45 million a year. So there's that. But I mean, I would slot him in. And I'm thinking he's gonna come in just above Justin Herbert. Maybe not even jumping Jared Goff, but that would be a fair place to put him. But coming to just his pure value, you could easily say he's top 5. So, where does he end up landing? That is the $1 million question. And is it a case of him being willing to take less? I think he will be willing to do that to help out the team. And I see him going into the game plan as, hey, if I shoot for the moon and land amongst the stars, aka like top 10 or even maybe top 15, somewhere in between that, am I really doing that bad? Did I really, make out, come out on the losing side of this thing? So I think that's, a valid strategy to go with. And, you don't want to, handicap your team to a piss poor, situation where they're not able to make moves, bring in the players that they need, as they're having to rebuild, in the next coming years, with certain positions and talent around them. Trent Williams isn't going to play forever. Deebo Samuel's got shipped out. You got to see what you have in Pearsall. Brandon Ayuk is yet to be seen how he responds back, from this ACL injury. So a lot of moving pieces there, a lot of caveats. But Purdy can get his money, but does he want to damn the franchise to do so? And then moving forward, number 5, do you think he can carry that contract justifiably? Is he really going to be worth it? Because, like I said, they're going to go through a period of transition. During that, he's going to be able to lift all boats. Is he going to be the rising tide, or is he going to be the mine that they run into that's going to sink the ship? More of a negative than a positive. I think he'll keep them competitive, sure, but with Juwan Jennings as a mainstay, Ricky Pearsall, as a guy who is yet to capitalize on his potential. What are we really getting here? George Kittle still a badass, but at this stage of his career, where is he? He's not gonna stay at that high level forever. So he's got maybe two to three or high level years in him before Also, I think maybe need to re-up him, and then he has to become a salary cap casualty. So, and then this has been a thing going on several years now. Number 6, is this yet another year that contract talks will drag on for this franchise? Because, this is systematic at this point. Joey Bosa, Deebo Samuels before that. And then Brandon Ayuk, so figuring out what you want to do with these guys and then letting it drag on and then end up paying them a premium. Just is bad business, man. It's not smart. It's what the Cowboys do and they pay for it. It's what Bengals have done and they pay for it. Getting ahead of these things, contract issues, foreseeing the market and identifying the guys early who you want to be your key pieces, your red chip and blue chip guys, is the way to go. But I keep fucking it up. I love it as an Eagles fan because your peril is our benefit. But yeah, they've been a little sketchy on that side. And then that, I know other players see that, look at that in the locker room. They're like, yeah, I might just want to go somewhere else where, I have to deal with this kind of headache and deal with this circus, fighting for my dollars. I'm fighting for my financial life, And then the last one we'll get to here. Would they be willing to try and replace him, though? That is the $1 million question, because does Shanahan feel that they can do better? And he believes in the system. Does he believe so much in it that he feels that if Purdy reaches for an unreasonable price in their eyes, will he be willing to just say, play hardball and say, hey, take it or leave it? This draft has some decent guys, but the next year, the guys that maybe they're looking for, maybe some of the generational talent, are they going to give him maybe like a shorter deal where they can have him be more palatable, and then maybe bring in his successor, a quarterback that Shanahan truly wants. But don't know, and truly don't care. I mean, it's interesting to do this exercise, but this is totally performative because I'm an Eagles fan through and through. But I love to see the 49ers struggle and whine as they go along and strike fool's gold, because that benefits my team. But anyways, you're not even here to whine about that because you're not even watching. But it's all good because I love making these videos and I love talking about the freaking stinking Philadelphia Eagles, even in a roundabout way. So we'll try to do this officially and get the fuck up out of here. But as always, it's fly Eagles fly, and let's motherfucking go.
Like, comment, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Check me out at Cintron, Cintron Anime, Cintron Life, or Cintron Laughs, or other social media.